Welcome to Acoustic Corner. I'm Steve Rothenberg, and each week we'll explore the world of acoustic music, from blues to bluegrass, classical, flamenco, and fingerstyle guitar, and everything in between. We'll feature live performances by some of the best musicians and bands in the Denver area, and visit local guitar shops and luthiers to discover where you can find yourself a beautiful custom-made guitar, banjo, or mandolin. For those of you interested in learning how to play guitar or improving your skills, you'll find lessons on how to play fingerstyle guitar, blues guitar, as well as other popular styles. Join us each week for a tour through the acoustic music landscape. There's something for everyone at Acoustic Corner. I'm here with John Baxendale at the Colorado Guitar Company on South Santa Fe Boulevard. I've been here before. The last time I brought in my Martin, and you gave it a once-over.
Sure.
And I think I might have to bring it back for a little work. But
Okay.
but right now we're down at John's shop where he's putting together some guitars. And if you're at all interested in building your own instruments, you'll probably want to take a look at this. I personally, I'm all thumbs when it comes to wood, so you wouldn't trust me around this place. But you've got some fine-looking instruments here in various phases of their construction.
Thank you.
So why don't you show us a little bit about what you've got going here and what
Okay,
you're putting
well,
together.
First of all, what I'm going to do here is glue the top onto a guitar that's already has the back glued together. So this gives you a good idea what the inside of the guitar is going to look like.
Now, is that the bracing in that guitar? Is that pretty standard, or is it something?
Well, I kind of have my own ideas about it, and
Okay.
it's unique to my instruments in that I actually laminate the back braces to try to stiffen them back up.
Mm-hmm.
Because my idea is that the back should be really rigid and that the top should be the driving force and do all the vibrating, and the back shouldn't absorb any of that. So I actually laminate these braces to stiffen that up.
So I know that some guitars are braced in such a way where they recommend not putting on any string heavier than a medium, or not tuning it up to standard pitch. Are these you can tune these?
Well, I wouldn't recommend putting it heavier than medium gauge strings, but
Yeah.
they're definitely heavy enough, and also you can tune them to standard easily. So.
Yeah. Well, I don't use heavy strings myself, but in fact I use custom lights.
Yeah. Typically when people use a real heavy string, they're tuning down with open tunings and that
Right.
sort of thing. Which.
Right. Now, this is I see as a cutaway. Is this? Do you put electronics in this, or you leave that up to the customer?
Well, this particular guitar I'm not going to put electronics in, but I do from time to time put electronics.
Yeah.
I usually want a pickup that doesn't add too much weight to the guitar because I'm trying to achieve a really great acoustic sounding guitar,
Mm-hmm.
and the more stuff you put on the inside is just going to compromise the sound of it.
Yeah. So what kind of wood is the sides and back?
This guitar is Indian rosewood, which is a pretty standard wood.
Yeah.
Before 1970, most guitars were made with Brazilian rosewood, which is an endangered species now.
Oh, so you can't get it anymore?
You can get it still, and I do build with it
Mhm.
now, but it's really expensive, and it's hard to get.
Yeah. So what would that add to the cost of a guitar if you used Brazilian?
It normally adds $1,500 to $2,000 to the price.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. That's quite a bit more. So
This Indian rosewood costs, just the raw wood costs about $80 per set.
Mm-hmm.
Brazilian rosewood can cost anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000.
I
So
see. So
just for the raw piece of
yeah.
wood.
Have you? Has anybody requested a Brazilian rosewood guitar from you?
Yeah,
willing to pay the freight?
it's the most desirable wood, and that's when somebody's having a guitar made. Then a lot of times they want the best wood you can put
Right.
on it. So.
And the quality of that wood is just the tone that it gives is.
Yeah, it's a much more dense wood, and it projects the sound a lot better.
Mhm.
And there's just something about it that works really well with musical instruments.
Yeah. Well, my '78 D35 is Brazilian rosewood. I think.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure.
Usually
it is.
they're Indian rosewood, but
Even that year.
yeah, even that year.
So when did they switch from?
They switched in 1970. And actually, there's only a few guitars made with Brazilian rosewood in 1970.
Oh, really? So
And it was really 1969.
So it's been endangered and hard to get since then?
Since then, yeah.
Learn something new every day.
But there are a few guys going to Brazil and cutting out the stumps that are in Brazil.
Yeah.
They're actually, you know, they're stumps this tall
So you
that
can,
people are cutting up and using for guitar wood. So
yeah, but not importing it to. That you can get
they're
here?
importing it here, yeah. They have to have special licenses and
I see.
documents and everything. But
Gotcha. So this is Indian rosewood, and the top?
this top is Sitka spruce, which is kind of a standard top wood for most guitars.
Mm-hmm.
I use a lot of Adirondack spruce and Engelmann spruce. I like Engelmann a lot because it grows here in Colorado,
Mm-hmm.
and I know a guy just right up the street that cuts it down himself here in Colorado, and
Nice.
it's just amazing wood.
So what's the thickness of the top?
Well, I use different thicknesses. I'm always experimenting, and I do it anywhere from 125 thousandths, which is an eighth of an inch thick,
Mhm.
to about 90 thousandths of an inch. So I experiment all the time. Lately, I've been using around 100 thousandths. So.
Yeah, it looks. You know, it does, you normally don't see the top of your guitar, but it's really there's not much here.
Yeah, there's not much there. It's
And the
we'll
brace.
talk a little bit about the X bracing, and
Yeah.
and Martin pioneered the X style bracing, and what it does is allow you to brace the guitar in such a way that it's really light but still strong.
Mhm.
And the idea with this scallop bracing, you can see the braces are cut in a scallop, and that allows you to reduce the weight without reducing the strength. So
And is this would be a typical Martin type of bracing, or is this?
it
something
is.
you've
I mean,
also
it's
experimented
definitely
with?
inspired by Martin
Yeah.
bracing, more like the pre-war Martins, like from the 30s.
Yeah.
There are some slight differences as far as the position of the tone bars and the size and the kind of wood the bridge plate's made out of.
Gotcha. Well, why don't you? You said you're going to glue this thing?
Yeah, I
on
was going to
and-
glue it together here, and
And I'm assuming what kind of glue are you using?
I
Not
just use
something-
Type Bond.
Yeah, something I could go buy. Somebody could go buy. And,
Oh yeah, you could buy that at any hardware
Hardware
or Home Depot. It's just a yellow carpenter's
Carpenter's
glue.
glue.
So I'm gonna put this spreader in there and make sure it'll fit through this hole so I can get it out when.
Oh yeah, that's important.
Yeah. So it would be pretty bad if this got stuck inside after I glued it on.
Well, it would definitely make the guitar heavier, and
Wouldn't
it would
sound
sound.
quite as
It
good.
wouldn't sound quite as good, but it would be unique. It would probably reduce its value just a bit.
One thing I always do on my tops before I glue them on is sign it here. And
Today's the 16th, I think.
I'll just put the month on there.
Ah, gotcha.
2011. Okay.
So, how many guitars are you producing at any given time? I see you got a couple that are in.
Well,
various
until
stages.
recently, I only built like 1 or 2 a year.
Yeah.
Lately, since I've been in this location, I have a lot better shop here, and I'm building, around 10 a year. I have 6 guitars going at the moment that I'm building, and
Great. And you said your guitar started around.
they start around
$3,000?
$3,000, which is about as cheap as I can make them. It's
Yeah.
a lot of work that goes into building a guitar, and a lot of people don't realize how much work goes into it.
Well,
And
Leo Kottke used to tell this joke, which could be stolen from 18 different places, but he used to say that he had a luthier that was allergic to sawdust and would practically die every time you built him a guitar, so he charged him what he thought his life was worth.
yeah.
Well, this looks fairly straightforward, and that's. Do you need to heat seal it, or you just
No,
pressure
I just let
seal
it dry. I'll clamp it up and just
Yeah.
let it set.
And how long do you let it sit for?
Typically, I like to let it sit overnight, but
Yeah.
sometimes if I can get it on earlier in the day, I can let it sit for 5 hours and it'll be okay. But at this point, I'll just leave this clamped up all
Right.
the rest of the day and through the night.
So after this is done, then it's final sanding, or do you go right to
There's
the
still a lot of
finish?
work. I'll have to this doesn't have any binding or anything, so what I
Right.
actually will do is route a channel on the back and the top side, and inlay a decorative purfling strip and also a binding strip around the sides.
Right.
And
Now, is that something that the customer has specified? They want a certain kind of
yeah,
binding, or
yeah, I usually give them a few different
choices.
options, and they usually will pick that. This one I'm going to do an ivoroid binding, which is a simulated ivory.
Mm-hmm. So how long is this guitar away from being a finished product?
Well, I haven't started the neck yet. I still have to make a neck and a fingerboard, and
So still a few months away before.
well, I should have this done in a month and a half.
Oh,
Should have it ready. The finish takes a couple weeks to do.
Right. Well, how many coats of is it? Do you refer to as lacquer or varnish, or?
I use a lacquer
Yeah.
generally. Sometimes I use shellac.
Yeah. Is it specifically made for musical instruments, or is this something you buy off the shelf?
The lacquer I use is I buy just right off the shelf. It's not really specifically made for guitars. They do make a lacquer that supposedly is for instruments, but I don't think it's any different. It looks the same. And
Right. Well, I remember I bought my I have a Dobro Gibson, and I remember asking the difference between the Hound Dog model, which was an oil finish, and the 60D, which I bought, and they said that the finish on it adds $600 or $700 to the price of the instrument. And I
Right.
guess that's just a matter of the labor that it takes to put on each
that's
tone.
true. I do have done a few guitars where I actually French polish it, which is a process of applying shellac, and it took me probably 20 hours to do the finish.
Right.
Which it's a really natural finish.
Yeah, so it's pretty labor intensive. So I know that I have a couple of friends who build guitars in their basement, and they I know it's it's taken them quite a bit of time, but this is something that that hobbyists can do, and they're
definitely. I mean, there are quite a few specialized tools that you need to be able to build a guitar, but if you're willing to put a little investment into it, it's pretty fun thing to do. And
well, like I said, I think I might have said this is the I'm pretty much all thumbs when it comes to anything involving woodwork. So
well,
probably be,
you never know unless you try it.
Well, I have a feeling that I'd be buying one from you sooner than I'd be making one for myself. But like you said to me earlier, semi-retired with a little bit of money. Well,
yeah.
The semi-retired parts you got sort of close. The little bit of money, that's the issue. So,
right.
But who knows? You never know what will happen. Maybe I'll win the lottery.
You never know. There are quite a few luthier schools that you can go to and classes you can take that actually have the tools there. There's a really good one at Red Rocks Community College.
Yeah, I've heard of that one, and also I heard that Edward Dick up at the Old Town Picking Parlor.
Yeah, Edward Dick also has one. I'm actually getting ready to start teaching a class here, but I'm only taking on 2 or 3 guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a real small, laid-back class. I have pretty limited tools, so I can't take on a huge number of people.
What do you charge for?
It's going to be about $1,500, and that'll include materials and I supply the tools and the know-how.
You'll get a guitar out of it.
You'll get a really nice guitar out of it, and
well,
and I'm not really trying to take on an apprentice, so to speak, but I just
just somebody wants to do something fun with their hands and end up with something they can play.
Exactly.
Well, I might have to check into that after your first class and see if you